With me is now Mr. Poroshenko, who was the president of the Ukraine from 2014 to 2019, and he is one of the special guests here at the EPP Congress. Mr. Poroshenko, pleasure that you find the time here at the Konrad Adenauer stand. Yesterday you delivered a very passionate speech calling for support for the Ukrainian cause. Mr. Poroshenko, what is your position regarding the European efforts in order to counter the Russian aggression?
First of all, I want to thank you, Henning, and the Konrad Adenauer for the multi-year cooperation and support Ukrainian democracy.
Thanks.
I know what does it mean, and I know how it's important for Ukraine. Second, I want to congratulate and appreciate the Congress of EPP for their leadership in the European Union, for giving the position how to support Ukraine. And with that situation, I think that this is the statement which was very, very, very brave and important. We have the sanction and embargo, including the modernization of the sixth package of sanctions, including the embargo on oil, including the possible different other instruments to increase the pressure on Putin. We have increase in the macro-financial support for Ukraine, increase in the military support, and I'm very much happy that Chancellor Scholz yesterday declared the anti-aircraft missile supply, because this is the game changer. Can you imagine that the future of the whole continent, depending from 100 jet fighter, 500 tank, 1,000 artillery system, and that's it. And this gives us Ukrainian troops, which was created by me since year 2014 through Russia in a way, and because everybody should understand that the fate and future of Europe decided now in Ukraine. And this is not just the support of Ukraine, this is just the investment in European security. And I'm very much happy that on the Congress of European People Party, we deliver to the whole Europe this very important signal. That's why still, unfortunately, Russia has 10 times more artillery than Ukraine. Russia has 10 times more ammunition than Ukraine. And our heroic soldiers just to surprise the world, not only surprise the Putin, but surprise the world to stop Russian troops. We surprised the world by the unity inside Ukraine since the 24th of February. And the world surprised Russia with the unity and solidarity with Ukraine, where we can see here in Rotterdam, starting from the atmosphere here in the EPP Congress and finishing with the Ukrainian flag on all the buildings in Rotterdam. This is definitely a unique atmosphere, a unique feeling.
Yes, definitely. You mentioned that it's a very crucial moment for the European continent, but actually the repercussions of this conflict are of geopolitical dimensions. As we can see on the Russian side, but also on the Ukrainian side, the stop and the difficulties around the supply with wheat, for instance, to African countries has a huge impact on those countries regarding hunger, and they have problems feeding the people. Now, in those countries, the Russians are quite successful with their narrative, saying that it's the sanctions why they cannot supply those countries with agricultural commodities. What is your position on this?
Two recommendations. First recommendation, don't trust Putin, don't trust Russia. Stop Russian propaganda with the Russian narratives. They are lying, they are working against the world. And second advice, don't be afraid of Putin. Because if you're afraid Putin go as far as we allow him to go. But if we are united in strength, Putin we will stop and send them back to the Russian Federation. The current situation with the food crisis, which is already exists, this is just a demonstration that this is not a war against Ukraine or war between Russia and Ukraine. This is the global war. This is the war against the whole Western world, not only with the European continent. And the very modest assessment of the United Nations, including FAO, they said that that can be affected with a 20 20% of the global population bring him to hunger. Not only to the North Africa, not only to the Middle East, but also to the Asia, to the Central, Sub-Saharan Africa, to the Latin America. Why it's happened? Because Russian aggressor block the way for the commercial vessels which exported more than 25 million tons of Ukrainian grain and wheat. Yeah. And how we can solve it? We need to be decisive and not to be afraid of Putin. 4, combine efforts. Point number 1, please equip Ukraine with the anti-naval missiles and with the anti-aircraft missiles, just to protect sky and protect sea, providing the escort with the commercial vessels with the wheat. Ukrainians demonstrate that they were professional by hitting the biggest Russian cruise in Moscow, downing them, and that was the center for the anti-aircraft defense of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Point number 2, we need immediately open negotiation with NATO, that NATO convoy should escort the commercial vessels at least from Odessa port to the Varna, Konstanza or Galatz port. And that will help us within a short period of time to export more than 5 million tons a month. Because this is not only to export now what we have in our storage, but to empty the storage for the new crop, and that can even make worse the global crisis. Yeah. And NATO should make a strong signal that if Russian fleet attack NATO vessels, it would be great fire in response. And point number 3, which is extremely important, we shouldn't take on hook with the Russian proposal to lift the sanction. On contrary, we should make a short period of time an ultimatum. If Russia do not deblock the Black Sea, the international community introduced new sanction against Russian commercial fleet, because 80% of Russian export providing through the Russian commercial fleet. And if we do the same with the Russian fleet, the same like with the oligarch Russian yacht, so arrest them, that definitely would have an effective steps to make a pressure on Putin to deblock Black Sea Fleet and to save world from the food crisis, because they have additional consequences of that. After the food crisis, we will have immediate migration crisis, because the millions of people from the countries where they have a hunger, saving their lives, try to find out the place where is enough food. Do you know what is the place would be on the first place? Europe. And with that situation, that's why we should be consolidated, we should be decisive, and we should support Ukraine to stop Russia. And in one word, how we can solve the question, we need to deputinize Europe. We need to stop when Russian dirty money financing European politicians, European political parties, European expert who said that no, this is not possible to make an embargo, and European non-governmental organization. Everything which financed by Russia is a criminal. Every single penny which go to Russia, this is spent to buying the bomb, to buying the missiles, Russian missiles who killing Ukrainians. We should stop them, stop together. And exactly this we're talking about today here in EPP Congress.
Mr. Poroshenko, thank you very much for unpacking this situation.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Europe stands with Ukraine, the world stands with Ukraine, and we wish all the best for
And Konrad Adenauer stands with Ukraine.
Definitely,
and I'm
definitely.
very much appreciated
Thanks.
for that. Thank you.